Hello there and welcome to the Bitcoin Takeover podcast. Today is a very special day because I get to interview the maker of one of my favorite Bitcoin wallets, and a wallet which I think is very underrated nowadays and not too many people talk about it anymore. It's called Electrum and it has all the features that you can possibly imagine for Bitcoin, from hardware wallet integration to multisig, and all the way to Lightning, watchtowers, and it's really fascinating. It's an all-inclusive kind of wallet, which is also, I guess, the second most tested after Bitcoin Core. And a lot of people have looked at it, and it's legit, and OGs still use it, but you know, the class of 2020 may not be too familiar with it. So I'm very happy to have you, Thomas.
Hello, hi, thanks for having me.
So did I mention your full name? You're Thomas Voegtlin.
Yes, that's correct.
You created Electrum.
Electrum was created, in 2011 by me. It started that, I was just toying with Bitcoin in order to learn how it works. I learned how to do a few Python scripts for myself. And then I ended up having all the components in place for the Electrum client-server architecture. So the server was, at the time, it was using a block explorer database called ABE. It was before we wrote our own code for the server. And I decided to do a wallet after the mybitcoin.com how should I call it? Catastrophe. It was a wallet website that stole bitcoins of their users. So it had a very big impact at the time. Although the market cap of Bitcoin was not very high, so therefore it's probably not recorded as something as terrible as, for example, Mt. Gox. But at the time, compared to the size of the Bitcoin economy, it was something big.
If I recall correctly, you said that you heard about Bitcoin the first time from a hacker's website?
No, I think it was the Slashdot. It was in 2010, and it was from the Slashdot website. There was an article mentioning that the market cap of Bitcoin had reached $1 million.
Yes, and I was going to mention the name Electrum because it means something special in chemistry and precious metals. But it's also smart because it alludes to electronic money.
Yeah, that's the intent. That's what it means. It also alludes to the fact that there is both a client and a server. So it's I think we had a logo with a Bitcoin. There was a Bitcoin sign in the center, and the ellipse that you see in the current logo was a smaller Bitcoin orbiting around the larger one, as the client orbiting around the server.
Yes, and for a while, a lot of people relied on Electrum for SPV.
Yeah, still today.
Still today. And something which a lot of people don't understand, and I'm going to ask you to explain. What is the difference between a full Bitcoin node and an Electrum server?
An Electrum server is a full Bitcoin node with some extra indexing capabilities. So it's able to answer to requests about the history of a Bitcoin address, for example. So you can, you need to index more stuff than the Bitcoin Core client does. And there is an extra protocol with the Electrum RPCs that we use for that.
Mm-hmm. And I also like the design of the wallet because by default it connects to a random Electrum server every time.
Well, that's the default because we don't want users who have no idea about which server they want to use to be bothered. But you can also decide to have your favorite server. To connect only to one server or to your private server. The default is to connect to random so that it's simpler.
You also have Tor integration so that you don't reveal your IP address to the Electrum server.
Yeah, indeed, that's correct. Yes.
And I think it's pretty cool. I also run the Rust Electrum server on my Raspberry Blitz. It's personal for the local network, so nobody from the outside can connect to it, which I guess kind of defeats the purpose. You're not going to like it.
No. I think diversity is good. I do not write the current server. Like I said in the beginning, the initial server was built on top of a block explorer called ABE, and that was a SQL database that was very inefficient. So I then wrote the initial Electrum server code, which was much faster than ABE, but still it has been replaced now by ElectrumX, which is faster, which is an append-only database, so it's more efficient than the code that I wrote. And now everybody uses ElectrumX, or like you said, Rust, or what was there, Fulcrum. I mean, there are a few implementations for the server. So I don't. I'm very happy that I don't have to develop this myself anymore.
Yeah. Something else that I know is that you have the Trezor and you have the BitBox02, which allow you to connect to your own Electrum server as opposed to relying on theirs. And I wanted to ask you, why do you think that they went for this design with the Electrum server as opposed to a Bitcoin Core node?
That you can connect to your own Electrum server? Sorry, can you
Yes,
clarify
so
the question?
you can connect in Trezor Suite. You can connect to your own Electrum server as opposed to using Trezor's own, but they don't have full node integration yet. And why do you think that they went for this design for Electrum server before they went for full node? What are the advantages?
I don't know specifically about Trezor Suite,
Of course.
but if you have your own Electrum server, it needs to connect to a Bitcoin full node. Yeah, so I don't know how it is set up, but I suppose there is also a Bitcoin full node in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's for privacy. I mean, if you run your own Electrum server, then you do not expose your Bitcoin addresses to some foreign servers, obviously. That's I mean, if you want privacy, nothing beats a full node. And Electrum can be used in the context of a full node that you control if you run your own Electrum server on top of it. And if you decide to do so, it's also possible to make your own Electrum server available to the rest of the world, so that other people can use it who do not want to run a full node.
Yes, and if you look at the list of Electrum servers, you can find some famous Bitcoiners or Bitcoin companies that run their own. You have Blockstream, you have Andreas Antonopoulos.
Yeah, I think it's a way to also get some advertising for those companies. I mean, they are visible in the official list of Electrum servers, so it cannot hurt. It's like running a Lightning node. These days, some large companies run a node just because they want to be visible.
Yes, but what I was about to say is that, like in the case of Tor, you can have whatever governments trying to operate their own Electrum servers for data collection purposes.
Yes.
As most people, by default, they're going to just use a random server, and if they have a large number of servers, it's likely that they get a match and they have users connecting to them and sending them XPubs and transaction data. So I guess it's useful that you have these entities that you at least trust that they have their heart in the right place and they have the right privacy values.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, if you really want to make sure that you are private, you have to run your own full node. That's, I mean, nothing beats that. So Electrum is both for beginners who want to have a quick way to connect to the network and who do not want to wait, because it's also an important aspect of money that you don't need to wait to download the full blockchain or to synchronize with the blockchain. But if you are really about privacy and you don't want to expose anything, I think the best thing you can do is to run your own node.
Yes, I very much agree with that. And something else about Electrum that I want to mention is that the class of 2019, 2020, 2021, they mostly use for multisig or whatever, they use Sparrow, which is a popular wallet for desktop, or they use Spectre, which is also great and popular. But most likely they don't know about Electrum, and that's why I decided that this interview is very relevant. As when I saw Sparrow, I was like, okay, this is cool, but it does nothing that I haven't seen in Electrum already.
Yeah, I have not tried those wallets. Maybe they might be more user-friendly. I haven't. I don't really know, but it's also maybe they put emphasis on this kind of feature, multisig. We supported multisig wallets very early, and Electrum has been known for that for a long time. But in the recent years, we mostly focus on Lightning. And we don't take much time to advertise what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, you also have Shamir backups. You also have hardware wallets. I think pretty much every hardware wallet works with Electrum. I used to have...
Not every, but most of them, yes.
I think it supports PSBT, right?
Yes.
So...
Yeah, the thing is that before PSBT was officially a spec, we had our own PSBT, our own format, and we developed that format in order to be able to be the first to propose multisig. And now that we have PSBT, we replaced the initial Electrum format completely, so that we only keep a single format in the code, because we don't want the code to become too complex. But the fact that we did not wait for PSBT to exist to offer multisig is the reason why we were the default choice for multisig for a long time.
Yes, and I remember when I got my Trezor 1, no, the Trezor Model T, it had some features that could only be unlocked while using Electrum. Their interface, which was still a web application, was very basic and for newbies, and even Trezor was recommending that you should use Electrum to unlock more advanced features. And
yeah, I think they did not support multisig. I don't know if they do yet, but before PSBT, there was no way to do multisig using different wallets, because they had no way to communicate except if you use Electrum.
After Mt. Gox collapsed, that was really the precipice of me saying, right, this has to change. We need a totally transparent exchanging system and base it on gold instead of fiat.
Voeltoro is the hard money exchange which helps you beat inflation with instant swaps between the best stores of value known to man, gold and Bitcoin. Unlike most exchanges, Voeltoro understands the importance of transparency and security. All gold holdings are secured in top-tier Swiss private vaults and fully insured against theft, fire, and more. Maximize your purchasing power today by going to Voeltoro.com/Bitcoin takeover. This is not financial advice, but gold has been humankind's most reliable store of value in the last 6,000 years. Do your own research. Use promotion code TAKEOVER for a one-time bonus of 1 gram of gold for the first 50 new customers buying gold with Bitcoin. Are you concerned that your friends, neighbors, or KYC exchange might know how much Bitcoin you own? It is time to take your financial privacy seriously with Wasabi Wallet, a free and open source wallet solution which makes use of mega coin joins to mix your coins with those of hundreds of other strangers. Thanks to the groundbreaking Wabi Sabi engine, your coins get divided in smaller, untraceable units, which grant you great anonymity for both hodling and spending. Download Wasabi Wallet 2.0 today at wasabiwallet.io and take advantage of the mega coin joins. It's free and it's open source, so don't trust, verify. What are you going to wear when Bitcoin hits $1 million? The same old $20 t-shirt? Try Maison Machi, the designer clothes made in Paris by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. They're not your average mass-produced sweatshop clothes. Machi will ask for your measurements and tailor every piece of clothing according to the shape of your body, so you always look and feel great in your t-shirt, hoodie, or dress. It's all made in France by real artisans who also happen to be Bitcoiners, which is why Maison Machi only accepts Bitcoin as payment for their clothes. Get a Maison Machi t-shirt or hoodie today. It might even help you find a girlfriend. And once you do get a girlfriend, you can also buy her a Maison Machi dress. Stop having fun looking poor and check out maisonmachi.com. That's MaisonMachi.com.
So I did see your presentation yesterday. I know that you're focusing heavily nowadays on the Lightning Network. I also saw from the user interface that you have a special menu for running a watchtower, and you are also interested in ACINQ's Trampoline stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Could you do a brief summary of what you do with Lightning in Electrum and how it's different from LND or something else?
Yes, of course. It's LND is an implementation that's designed to be a public node. So it has routing capabilities, and it's always online. That's not a wallet. A wallet typically is online only for a very short time. I mean, people open their wallet, they do a payment, they expect the payment to work instantly, and they close the application. And that's the usage pattern of a wallet. So if you are in this context, you have to solve all the issues related to you not being online all the time. And Lightning actually introduces some vulnerabilities. I mean, you have to watch your channels, or someone has to watch them. So this is the role of a watchtower. And the same is about the trampoline. Trampoline is a solution to the finding a route issue. When you in Lightning, the sender of a payment has to find a route for that payment, and for that they need to know about the graph, and the graph has to be downloaded, and it changes frequently. I mean, channel updates are published constantly. So that means that you have pretty much to be online all the time if you want to have an up-to-date version of the graph. So Trampoline is a technology that is that was designed in order to solve this issue. It has been invented by the developers of Eclair, so the ACINQ company. And we implemented this. I mean, it is not part of the yet. It's not part yet of the Lightning protocol because it has not been merged into the specification. But ACINQ, they have had for a long time a trampoline node that they use for their users for Phoenix, for the Phoenix wallet, and so we implemented the trampoline in Electrum. And then we added 2 more trampolines to the network, and I encourage people to add more because the more trampolines there are, the better the privacy. So trampoline is a way to delegate the route finding to a trampoline node. So you just send your payment to that node with the instruction, find a route to the recipient, and the route can have multiple trampolines for privacy. So this is something that we introduced compared to Phoenix. Phoenix only uses a single trampoline because they only had one. I mean, it was only one entity at the time. So, but with Electrum now, if you pay to someone who, I mean, if the recipient of the payment is not a trampoline wallet, then by default we try a route with multiple trampolines to make sure that the payment is private. Otherwise, the trampoline knows about both the sender and the recipient, so it gives them too much information.
That's very different from what most people know that Lightning Network is. And I think there is a whole industry of buying already made nodes that you plug to power, and then you have something that runs 24/7, and people expect to get routing fees, but you're working on something which works just like a Bitcoin wallet. You only turn it on when you need to make a payment, you make the payment, you close it, and it's interoperable with the rest of the Lightning Network.
Well, it's the same story as we had earlier with the full Bitcoin blockchain. I mean, running a full node versus having a light client that is an SPV client. The issue at the time was that you had to synchronize the blockchain. Now the issue with Lightning is that you have to be online all the time. But in essence, it's okay. So the issue with SPV is a way to reduce the size of the information that you keep on your hard drive and that you download as well. Trampoline is also a way to not download this Lightning graph, the graph of the network. So it's both are technologies that are designed to reduce the amount of data that you have to download, and that make it possible to pay instantly when you turn on your device.
I also wanted to ask you about SPV, as that's something that's described in the white paper. And is there any difference between the way Satoshi described SPV and the implementation that you find in Electrum?
No. In the early days, there was this idea that was floated around by other wallets developers that were using a Bloom filter. So they were equating SPV to the use of the Bloom filter. And I think this was just propaganda or marketing, should I say. I mean, I think that the goal was to say that Electrum was not really an SPV wallet. But no, that's not true. I mean, we implement SPV. I mean, the white paper from Satoshi does not say anything about how you should receive the Merkle proof. The Merkle proof, it's perfectly acceptable to get it from an Electrum server. There's no, I mean, that's not part of SPV. That's just how the proof is sent to you doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is whether you can check the proof and how you check it.
And I also wanted to ask you about Neutrino. I think that's BIP 157, 158.
Yes.
Does it work in Electrum, or is it not part of your SPV setup?
No, it's not. It's not part of what we do. Neutrino is actually, it's much better than the Bloom filter. At the time where they published the Bloom filter, I think I didn't want to implement it. I think I don't remember exactly what I said about it, but basically I said it was bad. If Neutrino had been available at the time, maybe I would have changed my. I mean, it would have changed my mind, because Neutrino is is a lot better. It's more private, more efficient. But yeah, in the end, no, we don't use Neutrino. We use the Electrum servers.
What is next for Electrum? It seems like you have pretty much every new feature so far, and you keep on adding stuff, and it doesn't really change the interface. That's also something that I find interesting, that the wallet is kind of the same if you look at it. You just add some more menus when you open the drop-down stuff.
Well, that's not true. I think the next version simplifies the user interface, because, for example, if you look at the Receive tab, there will be a single button that will work, that will create invoices both for on-chain and Lightning. So Yeah, you're right that we are trying to come back to what Electrum was before Lightning. My goal is to abstract the payment from the payment layer. So users should not have to know whether they use on-chain or Lightning. This should happen in the background, ideally. So it's not completely the case yet, of course, but what the new version introduces is if you need to rebalance channels in order to send or to receive a payment, it will not do it automatically for you, but it will suggest it and automatically select the relevant channels and the amount that you need. It will also propose you to open a channel or to do a submarine swap if you need that in order to send or to receive a payment. So yeah, maybe there will be more automation in the future. We have to see, but that's already a big step in terms of the users having only to interact with history, send and receive, and not to worry about the channels tab or the other tabs that are for more advanced users.
I listened to an interview with you from a few years ago, and you mentioned that you got interested in Bitcoin because you wanted to create something similar. You had ideas for a similar kind of digital currency.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is... this was a long time before Bitcoin. I would not say I had really interesting ideas because Bitcoin was completely different from what I expected. But it's true that I took part in a mailing list around the year 2000. I was involved in a peer-to-peer project in a distributed hash table, and we were looking for possible applications of this beyond just sharing files. And I suggested, I raised the question, can we create a currency with that? Of course, I had no idea how to solve the double spend problem. So the only thing I knew about was this Byzantine protocol agreement, which is known to be weak. So I didn't have any... I had some interest in doing that, but I never really proceeded with something concrete.
I guess just like Peter Todd, who was emailing Hal Finney and Adam Back when he was like 15, trying to solve the double spending problem, but he had no idea how to do it, I guess. But my question would have been, if you could change anything about Bitcoin right now, and let's say it's 2009, you can talk to Satoshi and tell him to change something at launch, what would it be?
Okay, it might sound it's probably going to hurt the opinions of a lot of people, but
that's why we're here.
I'm not sure if the block reward going to zero is a good thing. There is I'm talking about the block subsidy. So the reward would be only the fees, the mining fees. I would feel more comfortable if the miners had a constant block reward at some point, but that is a hard fork. And it seems that the people who advocate for hard forks have left the Bitcoin ecosystem. But we don't know how the game theory of mining and rewards is going to work in the long run. So this is probably something. I think we need to have a discussion about this. That would be probably my the most important thing in my opinion. There might be others. I don't know what to think about proof of stake, honestly. I think I don't want... if somebody now suggests a hard fork that moves Bitcoin to proof of stake, I would probably oppose it. just because it's untested. Ethereum is going to test it, but I don't like constructions that are too complex. So I think nobody really understands the security aspects of proof of stake in Ethereum, and we'll have to see we'll have to see what happens there. But this kind. I'm not able to give you an answer to the question: is proof of stake better than proof of work? This is something I think we need to be conservative at the moment and not to change that. But we should also keep eyes open.
Ideologically, I don't think I can agree with proof of stake, because it's the idea that if somebody has more money than you, then he has more votes than you.
Absolutely, I agree.
So I can see many ways in which that can go wrong, even if you assume that everyone is financially interested. With proof of work, at least you can externalize resources from the outside, so you can use fiat to buy a mining machine and make Bitcoin without ever buying Bitcoin. And I think that's a big advantage, that you can use outside resources to contribute to the network, whereas in proof of stake, you must always buy from somebody else.
Yeah, I agree. I just mentioned proof of stake as an example of something that I do not want to see now. I'm just saying we should observe what's going on.
Yeah, we should grab popcorn, lots of it, because it's going to be interesting. We saw all of these experiments fail this year with stable coins and all stuff like that. Not all of them, but
yeah,
Luna
in general, I think that the issue with DeFi and with smart contracts is that there is a difference of culture there with Bitcoin. Those smart contracts in general, the people who develop them, they have no inhibition towards complexity. They create complex things that they don't really master because they are too complex. So the surprise comes later.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Next question, please.
Is there any sidechain in Bitcoin that you like?
I don't really know about them. The liquid thing relies on the federation, so it's not really Bitcoin. There is no double peg in Bitcoin. Maybe it would be nice to have a double peg, a real one, decentralized one. I have read about this BIP 300 thing. I don't think there's not a lot of people behind it, and it's also, I don't know if I really like it. Maybe in order to have a double peg, we would need a hard fork, and we don't have that. But if we need to have a hard fork, well, I don't see a hard fork happening soon. Maybe Bitcoin will never see a hard fork because it's too late. It's something that was possible in the early days.
I think we need to have one to fix some issue.
Which ones?
So there's something about the hashing that's going to happen in like 50 years.
Quantum computers?
No, not that.
Not
Something
that?
regarding the signatures. So there's gonna be some bug which can become critical in like 50 years. So we're gonna need to hard fork at some point for that reason only.
Okay.
But let me put it like this. If we were to imminently hard fork, and that was obviously the choice of everyone, would you opt to add something else into Bitcoin?
No, if
like
you have
privacy
to
or
hard
whatever?
fork imminently, you have to gain consensus. And the more stuff you add, the more you divide the people. So if we have to hard fork over a pressing issue, the hard fork should only fix that issue. That's the way to maximize the chances of success for the hard fork.
I agree with that, but let's say that you have unpopular opinions. Like, what is the most unpopular opinion about what should be in Bitcoin?
The most unpopular.
Like you don't like big blocks, but maybe you like something like ring signatures or whatever. Zero knowledge proofs.
I don't. I mean, I was against the big blocks, as in Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV, because of the division in the community that was existing at the time and the way it was introduced. But and also because it was introduced as a solution to scaling issues when there was a smarter way to go about that, and that's Lightning. But it doesn't mean that I am against larger blocks. Absolutely. I mean, this if it's in a different context. I mean, if it was brought in a different context, maybe I would have been in favor of bigger blocks. It's just that when you have a small group trying to take over the Bitcoin core developers, you cannot accept that.
There's a way to increase the block size with extension blocks. That was a proposal made by Johnson Lau. Basically, it involves having a parallel chain, which is also mined by the same miners, and you can have larger blocks on that one. I think SegWit won over it because it's less complex and it doesn't give as much power to the miners. But I did see an interesting experiment in Litecoin where they added, like 2 months ago, they added Mimblewimble on top of extension blocks. This way they can do peg-ins and peg-outs into a private chain, and they have confidential transactions that are actually scalable. So I think that's an interesting experiment. To me, it's more interesting than what they do in Ethereum with proof of stake.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't follow closely what other coins are doing, but there are certainly interesting developments there, and it's important to keep eyes open about it. Yes.
I know this because I had Charlie like 3 or 4 episodes ago, and he told me about all of this. I think it's interesting to do experimentation that can get added to Bitcoin later. Mimblewimble at first was proposed as something for Bitcoin. I'm not sure if you're too familiar with it, if you spend time to research it, but it's really cool because it's scalable, unlike whatever is on Monero and Zcash.
Yes, I've read about it.
So what gets you most excited nowadays about Bitcoin? You have been involved for 12 years almost, or more?
I think still Lightning, and I mean Lightning is not finished. There are nice proposals. Taro. I did not dig very deep into that, but it seems to be something worth reading at least. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if you ask me now about the most interesting development, I mean, long term, probably something in the direction of Lightning. What can be done with Lightning that isn't done yet, as in other assets or DLC, discrete log contracts, this kind of stuff.
What's your take on stuff like Counterparty and Omni that are layers built on top of the Bitcoin blockchain? They don't scale, but they do provide some interesting functionalities for those who are interested.
I did not know that they still exist.
Oh, they are still maintained. Omni is being used by Bitfinex. It used to be used for Tether. Now it's being used for Synonym. It's a company that they are financing for digital identity. And Counterparty is used for rare pepes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know very much about all the stuff that's going on in crypto. The thing is, there is only 24 hours in a day.
Oh yeah, but this is on top of Bitcoin, so.
Yeah, it's on top of Bitcoin, but still, even there, I spent a lot of time solving issues related to Electrum, and that's it. I mean, I I don't know much about Counterparty. I mean, Counterparty has been around for a long time. I think it was even there when I was still using Bitcoin Talk, the forum. It was there. It's probably one of the oldest protocol on top of Bitcoin, if I'm right.
It's from January 2014.
Yes.
And they burnt like 2,000 Bitcoin to create it.
Mm-hmm.
And people still use it. I used it last year, and it was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was at the top of the NFT mania, and everyone was looking for the oldest historic NFTs.
Yeah,
and
okay.
They found rare Pepes.
I tend to not follow stuff related to NFTs, so yeah, sorry, I can't answer that.
No, I was just trying to see if there's any strong reaction to that. Like Greg Maxwell would just punch me in the face if he heard anything about that. He hates it with a passion. He thinks it's dangerous to insert something that may compete with Bitcoin, like a token on top of Bitcoin that might have a similar value and adds an incentive to double spend the blocks to get that rare Pepe or whatever.
I'm not following you there. Why would it add an incentive?
So if the same block transfers multiple assets and one asset happens to be more valuable than the Coinbase reward.
Yes, yeah, that's the same issue as in Ethereum with the gas. I mean, Ethereum has plenty of assets, but the gas and the Ether. In the early days of Ethereum, I thought that the Ether price would be decorrelated from all the assets that are there, and I did not think that the ETH price would go up, but it went up as well. But yeah, I cannot really answer about Bitcoin and Counterparty because I don't know that well enough.
It's basically Ethereum on Bitcoin without the EVM, but it's pretty cool.
The thing I agree with Greg on the fact that if you have assets that are much more valuable than the token that is used to move those assets, to pay for the mining fees, then it's an issue, as is the case in Ethereum, or would have been the case if the ETH price did not go up.
Right, so you mentioned that you're going to do a revamp of the Electrum interface. We're going back to Electrum because that was the point of this interview. Are you going to add anything different from what you're currently doing, or is it full Lightning right now?
Well, what I presented is a simplification of the Lightning experience. So there is abstraction in the sense that users don't need to know that they are using Lightning. I mean, they will know, of course, but if they don't really understand what is a channel, they don't need to open the channels tab. They will just have a pop-up that tells them, oh, you need to open a channel to pay this invoice, and here is how much you should put in there. So basically, they just need to press OK. And of course, they need to wait until the channel is open. So they need to wait for a few confirmations. Same story if they need to rebalance or swap. If they need to do a swap, it's going to last for at least one block. So they will experience sometimes that things are slower because we need to wait for a confirmation. And also, if you swap, then you have to pay mining fees, so it's more expensive than Lightning. But the idea is that other than delays and fees, which are shown to the user, they don't need to worry about whether they are paying on-chain or off-chain.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and you're doing something very great. I think Electrum is the all-inclusive wallet. It has pretty much everything. I have two more questions. The last one is about how people can follow you, but before that, Electrum is a desktop wallet. It's something that's used on your computer.
It's also an Android wallet. It's not very popular at the moment, and I don't know if you have seen the Android app.
No, I haven't. I'm on iPhone.
The current Android app is based on a framework called Kiwi, and it's been difficult because it's not responsive, it's slow, but we are changing that. I have a new developer that is rewriting it from scratch using Qt. So we hope that we will be able to release the Qt app this year, and it will look much better. It will be fast and responsive.
The question would have been, are there any mobile wallets that you recommend to people to use or that you like?
Other than Electrum?
Other than Electrum, yes.
Well, I think the best Lightning wallet in terms of user experience is Phoenix. That's why we are trying to borrow some features of Phoenix, but at the same time, we don't want a single point of failure like the ACINQ node, and we don't want in Electrum trust to be, the wallet should not trust a remote node. So it should be able to connect to arbitrary nodes and not to a node that you trust. So this is why we will probably not be as user-friendly as Phoenix, because we have to choose a different trade-off. And our philosophy is no single point of failure, no trust, or as little trust as possible. But if I had to recommend a Lightning wallet other than Electrum, that would be Phoenix, because all the other Lightning apps, either you have to run a full Lightning node and it's a front end to that node, or you delegate to someone who has the private keys of the channel. So for example, some of those applications, they give you the choice. You can have your node or you connect to their node. And if you connect to their node, they become custodian. And some of them are not clear about that. They don't really tell you. They say, well, we are non-custodian, but if you look at the fine print, it's only if you run your LND instance somewhere, which only 1% of the users do.
What do you think about Breeze, for example? It's a lot like Phoenix, but I don't understand the difference, so that's why I'm asking.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know exactly what Breeze is doing.
I think the main difference is that Phoenix uses async, right?
Yes.
And Breeze uses C Lightning.
So it all depends where the Lightning node is. Is it in the phone or not? That's the main. That's what you have to look at. Is it a remote instance, and who does it belong to? Or is it in the device? So they might have. I know that some of the Lightning wallets have a full instance of LND or whatever, or C Lightning in the device. So in that case, you are in the control of the keys. But then, if they don't use Trampoline as Phoenix does, it's probably much more data intensive, and you need to be online. More often you need to synchronize. Mm-hmm. So I don't know specifically what Breeze is doing, but that's the general answer.
At least for the first transaction that you receive, you need to keep your phone screen operating and the Breeze app running so that it opens the channel. So I guess you need to be online for some payments. But still.
In general, on Lightning, you need to be online to send and receive. You can, unless someone receives for you, you have to settle the HTLC. So you need to be online to receive.
Okay. So you're not on Twitter. That's what I know for a fact. And you said
yes, I am.
You are?
We have an Electrum wallet account on Twitter.
You personally, not Electrum.
No, personally, I'm not on Twitter. I think I don't want to do that because even with the Electrum wallet account, I try not to post personal opinions. I only post stuff that is related to Electrum. If I started to post personal opinions on a personal account, I would waste a lot of time. I think it's an expenditure of energy. I don't want to do that.
Of course, because Electrum consists of gold and platinum or silver?
Silver.
Silver. It's a combination of gold and silver. And you're all for the most precious stuff, and your time is just as precious. So people should follow the Electrum Twitter account. And what else? Is there any way to keep up with what Electrum does?
Any announcements that are important will be on Twitter.
Okay.
And that's it. I know there is a Facebook account, but it's not me behind it. So it's just run by some enthusiast. So the official thing is Twitter, and of course GitHub. I mean, like I say, we do not do support over Twitter. I mean, if you ask a support question over Twitter, it's not going to be answered because that's not the purpose of Twitter. So if you have an issue and you want somebody to look at it, you should post it on GitHub. And of course, if it's a general newbie question, it's not interesting for us. I mean, GitHub is here to help us find bugs and address issues that should be addressed. But if you are just learning, then GitHub is not a free teaching course, right? It's again a question of how we spend our time.
Yeah, I understand that, and I very much appreciate your time with this interview. You said a lot of interesting stuff, and it was longer than I told you it would be. You missed the presentation that you wanted to see at Mallorca Blockchain Days.
Thanks
but this has been Thomas Voegtlin. He's not very outspoken. He doesn't do many interviews, but when he does, it's really nice, and he says a lot of interesting stuff. I hope that you're going to add that nice interface into Electrum so more people use it. I hope that the ones watching are going to download Electrum and give it a chance. So thank you very much for this interview, and I'll see you again at conferences.
Thanks.
After Mt. Gox collapsed, that was really the precipice of me saying, right, this has to change. We need a totally transparent exchanging system and base it on gold instead of fiat.
Vaultoro is the hard money exchange which helps you beat inflation with instant swaps between the best stores of value known to man, gold and Bitcoin. Unlike most exchanges, Vaultoro understands the importance of transparency and security. All gold holdings are secured in top-tier Swiss private vaults and fully insured against theft, fire, and more. Maximize your purchasing power today by going to vaultoro.com/Bitcoin takeover. This is not financial advice, but gold has been humankind's most reliable store of value in the last 6,000 years. Do your own research. Use promotion code TAKEOVER for a one-time bonus of 1 gram of gold for the first 50 new customers buying gold with Bitcoin. Are you concerned that your friends, neighbors, or KYC exchange might know how much Bitcoin you own? It is time to take your financial privacy seriously with Wasabi Wallet, a free and open source wallet solution which makes use of mega coin joins to mix your coins with those of hundreds of other strangers. Thanks to the groundbreaking Wabi Sabi engine, your coins get divided in smaller, untraceable units, which grant you great anonymity for both hodling and spending. Download Wasabi Wallet 2.0 today at wasabiwallet.io and take advantage of the mega coin joins. It's free and it's open source, so don't trust, verify. What are you going to wear when Bitcoin hits $1 million? The same old $20 t-shirt? Try Maison Machi, the designer clothes made in Paris by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. They're not your average mass-produced sweatshop clothes. Machi will ask for your measurements and tailor every piece of clothing according to the shape of your body, so you always look and feel great in your t-shirt, hoodie, or dress. It's all made in France by real artisans who also happen to be Bitcoiners, which is why Maison Machi only accepts Bitcoin as payment for their clothes. Get a Maison Machi t-shirt or hoodie today. It might even help you find a girlfriend. And once you do get a girlfriend, you can also buy her a Maison Machi dress. Stop having fun looking poor and check out maisonmachi.com. That's MAISON MAACHI.com.